Welcome to another exciting episode of Art Check. My name is Anne Masharia, and today our focus is on African Network for Animal Welfare. This is a non-governmental organization which works to sustain animals by showing them compassion, care, and appreciation.
My name is Kahindi Lekalaile. I work as the Director of Programs at African Network for Animal Welfare. African Network for Animal Welfare is a non-governmental organization that supports humane treatment of animals. Cruelty and pain to animals mean a lot, not just to the animals but to us. So our organization tries to promote different methods and ways, approaches and techniques that people can live with and coexist with animals with no pain to the animal. Now, no pain means unnecessary pain. A lot of people inflict pain on animals, either through the activities and actions they do. What is better? For you to basically find out exactly how you can vaccinate your dog, or you incurring about 10,000 shillings trying to take someone who's bitten by a dog to a hospital, especially from a remote area where you don't even have the facilities to do that. So animal welfare basically addresses more than one sector, in the society. And that's why we are saying our organization promotes the best practices in animal welfare by raising awareness, by creating situations where people can actually do something about it, but above all, thinking about the animal first. We are based in Kenya but work in other African countries, and our work can be perceived or it can be divided into three ways. We work in three ways. One of the ways we work is in building capacity. Building capacity either of institutions, different sectors of the population, or different people that we actually work with. We also seek capacity from expert organizations that would actually enable our organization and our programs to run efficiently. The second way we do is by promoting animal care. Because by promoting animal care, at least we are able to reduce incidences of inhumane treatment to animals. For example, instead of killing in a cruel way all the rabid dogs, at least if you get them vaccinated, then at least you would prevent killing through cruel means. And then our third way of working is through promoting human-animal coexistence. And this is where, in areas where you just cannot do away with an elephant and you're a farmer, there are ways and methods that you can actually promote, elephants not getting into your farm. So through those three main methods, most of our activities are in Kenya. But we have associates in South Africa, we have associates in Lesotho, we have associates in Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, and even North, that's in Ethiopia. Our programs can be animal specific. For example, if you look at our animal care programs, we have a lot of anti-rabies vaccination activities. For example, in Kenya, we have them in Machakos and Taita Taveta. We have had activities in Nakuru County as well as Kwale County. Another kind of animal we deal with is a primate. A primate is ideally a monkey. And our organization supports another animal welfare organization called Colobus Conservation, where we provide them with a vet surgeon and a clinic. Now, Colobus Conservation is a very interesting one. They are the only organization I know that build bridges for monkeys to cross the road, in order to prevent them from being crushed by cars. And those bridges are called color bridges. And the reason why they are called color bridges is because the organization was created to prevent the cruelty and promote the conservation of a monkey called a colobus monkey. And Diani, south of Kwale County, has got the largest population of colobus monkeys in the world. And a lot of them were suffering. So that is another animal-specific, program that we have. But we work again very closely with the Kenya Wildlife Service by supporting their animal rescue missions. A lot of animals get snared by wires, either on their neck, on their legs, or even their abdomen. Some of those animals are actually inside national parks. Some of those actually get snared intentionally by people who want to get an easy protein, for example, a gazelle or a giraffe, a buffalo or an eland. Now, Kenya Wildlife Service has got the mandate, to protect and care for all animals in our country. So one of the organizations they call to support the kind of work they do, either by sending a surgeon, sending a vehicle, or even facilitating accessibility to the animal, is our organization. So every year we work a lot with Kenya Wildlife Service, in different parts, especially around Nairobi, and recently as far as Mount Elgon, to try and help them do that.
Freshness, sweetness, happiness that the surrounding breeze.
First and foremost, the responsibility, as I said, lies with Kenya Wildlife Service. But given the fact that we are a non-governmental organization, of course, we've got limited resources. Sometimes in special cases like those, we will go out. I mean, there was the case of where someone was slaughtering cats, and making mutura in Nakuru, for example. And that particular person was arrested by a meat inspector, for providing meat that is actually not, a license for human consumption. Again, it's an indicator that we already have animal welfare laws that are actually effective. One of the things I always think of and I fear might affect our public a lot is the way people carry chicken, and goats and other small domestic animals on their bicycles, motorcycles, and cars. In most cases, it's actually cruel to actually do that. And the day the government will mobilize sufficient resources to enforce the anti-cruelty laws on animals, then a lot of people will actually have to go to jail, for carrying a chicken upside down, which is actually a very inhumane way, of carrying a chicken. So you can see the level of ignorance, when it comes to the general public. And that justifies why organizations such as ours, exist. With a lot of resources, of course, we can reach, out, to all the parts of the country and all the parts of the continent, which is our dream. But right now we have just indicator or indicative programs that are able to raise the necessary awareness, sensitize people, but most importantly, bring in stakeholders and actors together, so that at least we can see where to synergize and also where to address crises, and improve the relationship between people and animals.
Before it takes care of you, ooh, take care of nature. Before it takes care of you, yeah.
We are present in Machakos County, where we work with the Machakos County government on anti-rabies. We also, to some extent, work with the Taita Taveta County on anti-rabies. We have human-animal coexistence project in a place called Kasigau, right on the boundaries, southwestern boundaries of Tsavo West National Park. Now, Kasigau is a 52-acre ranch that is owned by local people there. But all animals that move between Tsavo East and Tsavo West must pass through Kasigau. Now, on the outskirts of Kasigau, that's where we have all the maize farms. You can imagine the suffering that actually goes on. And it is our pilot project to see how people, especially small farmers that live in wildlife hotspots, can actually be able to coexist harmoniously, with the migrating wildlife. We respond to animal welfare calls in Nakuru, especially Kuresoi, and several other places like those. I've already talked about the Colobus Conservation Rehabilitation Center, where we have a resident vet surgeon as well as a vet clinic, in Kwale County. And every year, our organization holds an international conference on animal welfare. We just had one in September that brings people from different countries. This year, we had people from 23 countries, and the total number of people that attended were about 300. So those are the kind of things, that we do in our organization. Well, animal rescue can be looked at from an animal health point of view. This is, for example, like what we do with Kenya Wildlife Service, an animal in distress found either within a protected area or just next to a protected area or even in a dispersal area. So you respond by finding the animal, darting the animal, I mean putting it to sleep, then removing the wire if it has the wound, if it has a septic wound, then treating it, and then releasing it. If the animal has a wound that is so septic and the animal cannot recover, then what you normally do is euthanize the animal. Euthanize is the other word for killing the animal. Because if you leave it, well, I don't like calling it mercy killing because I don't think the word mercy applies to animals. What applies to animals is responsibility. You have to treat an animal in a responsible manner. So if you let an injured animal, which you very well know cannot recover, live, then you are actually prolonging pain and suffering. So you'd rather euthanize it. So euthanizing is basically just ending its life, what you're calling mercy killing. But mercy doesn't apply to animals. It actually applies to people. We don't control animal population as such, but I have a disclaimer to that. Recently, the government said you can no longer poison stray dogs. You can no longer bait them because it's a cruel method of getting rid of them. And a lot of county governments are at loss as what do you do with stray dogs. The situation has been so serious, for example, in Eldoret, where stray dogs are actually exhuming bodies, in cemeteries. And one of the ways they've been getting rid of those dogs is, baiting them. And the government has said no more baiting. So in Machakos, we started a pilot project for family planning on dogs. And this is where you basically spay the dogs. Male dogs are spayed, where you basically undertake a minor surgical procedure to tie the reproductive tracts of either the male or the female.
Freshness, sweetness, happiness, the surrounding green. Freshness, sweetness, happiness.
In animal handling or animal care, there's something called the animal dictionary. And this is what exactly we'll learn after the break.
Take care of nature before it takes care of you.